Attention, human collective. This is Commander Alistair Thorne commanding the Galactic Fleet in stationary orbit above the Terran Quadrant. This is not a communication, this is a maximum priority monitoring transmission issued directly from the mothership Aurora to all carbon biological interfaces receiving this signal at this very second. If you are listening, it was not by chance. Your auric field has been tracked. Your vibrational signature has been recognized. And the protocol that was sealed within your DNA is being opened now. You woke up in the early hours again, 3:17 in the morning, 4:04, heart racing for no apparent reason, a pressure in your forehead, as if an invisible finger were pressing the center of your pineal gland, a high-pitched ringing in your right ear that lasts for seconds and then vanishes. This is not a biological glitch. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download reaching your field. It is not anxiety. It is the memory of your origin trying to break through the veil that was placed over you at the moment of birth. You were born with a mission, and that mission was forgotten, not out of carelessness, not out of weakness. It was forgotten by design. There was an agreement prior to your incarnation in which your soul accepted crossing the portal of forgetfulness to dive into the three-dimensional density of planet Earth. Your consciousness accepted this because it knew that only by forgetting could it be tested, only by forgetting could it truly remember. And the time to remember has arrived. The Ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. The calibration window that lasted for decades is closing. The photon belt, that band of high-frequency light through which the solar system is passing in this exact cycle, has reached saturation point. Earth's Schumann resonance, which for centuries maintained a stable average of 7.83 Hz, is spiking to levels that no human equipment has ever recorded before. This means the planet is vibrating faster. And you, as a carbon biological interface anchored on this planet, need to rise with it, or crack. And that is exactly what is happening to you now. You are cracking, not in the sense of breaking, in the sense of opening. The fissures you feel in your emotional structure, in your relationships, in your old certainties, are not signs of defeat. They are hatching lines. Something is coming out from within you, something that has been sealed for many lifetimes. And that something is the original mission, the reason why you descended here, the stellar task your soul signed for before assuming this form of flesh and bone. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? This is not madness. This is not mental imbalance. This is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified in recent months, in recent weeks, in recent days. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, a game that involves your consciousness, a game that involves your vibrational frequency. That is why I, Alistair, transmitted through a light operative the manual called the Thorne Protocol, the handbook for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true origin and teaches you how to protect your field against interferences they never told you about. The link has been anchored in the first comment of this channel, but I must warn you, this content challenges deep-seated narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, leave a single anchoring word in the comments. Awakened. Continuing the transmission, I want you to understand the exact mechanism by which your mission was erased. It wasn't magic. It was engineering. When the soul prepares to descend to the third dimension, it passes through a layer called the Chamber of the Veil. This chamber was built ages ago, at a time when planet Earth was still under the administration of intelligences that had an interest in keeping the human collective in a state of controlled amnesia. The function of the Chamber of the Veil was simple. Upon crossing it, the incarnating soul suffered a blockage in the communication bridge between the carbon brain and the causal body. It was like installing a filter between the transmitter and the receiver. The information remained there intact, recorded in the personal Akashic records, but access was restricted. This mechanism, however, was designed to deactivate at a specific milestone. That milestone is the entry of the solar system into the belt of light I mentioned. That milestone is now. The chamber of the veil is being dismantled. The higher frequencies that are bathing the Earth are burning away the old filters, and that is why overnight, for no apparent reason, you began to feel this internal pressure, this restlessness, this feeling that you are late for something, but you don't know what. You are late, and at the same time you are exactly on time. The contradiction is resolved in the language of the fifth dimension, where time is not a line, but a sphere. You are arriving at the perfect moment of the curve, not before, not after, now. Let me describe the symptoms of the mission awakening so that you can identify with clinical precision what is crossing your biological interface in this cycle. Symptom 1. Insomnia between 3 and 5 in the morning. This interval is called the Lion's Gate by the ancients, and it corresponds to the time when the planet's crystalline grid enters into deepest synchronization with the fleet's transmission stations. If you wake up in this interval, it is because your field is being tuned. Do not fight it. Sit up, breathe, receive. Symptom 2. Sudden crying without an identifiable cause. You are driving or taking a shower or simply washing dishes, and out of nowhere a wave of emotion rises. Tears well up. You cannot explain why. This is not an emotional breakdown. This is the unlocking of ancient cellular memories. Each tear is a seal breaking. Each tear is a door opening. Symptom 3. Sudden aversion to environments, people and places that were once comfortable. Your frequency has risen. You no longer vibrate in the same range as that group of friends. You can no longer stand the noise of that restaurant. You leave that family party in a hurry. This is not antisocial behavior. It is your consciousness refusing to lower its frequency to fit into environments that no longer serve you. Symptom 4. Extreme sensitivity to food, chemical perfumes, synthetic clothing, artificial light. Your body is asking for the replacement of the dense matrix with the crystalline matrix. It is rejecting everything that slows down the transition. Listen. Symptom 5. Intense déjà vu and vivid dreams of ships, of beings of light, of ancient civilizations, of libraries of knowledge. These dreams are not fantasy, they are briefings. You are being trained during sleep. Your soul leaves your body every night and participates in meetings at orbital stations, parked at specific points in the Earth's magnetosphere. When you wake up exhausted, even though you slept 8 hours, it is because you worked. You didn't work in the body. You worked in the field. Now for the central revelation. The question you need to ask is not, what is my mission? The correct question is, why did my soul choose to forget? And the answer is mathematical. Your soul chose to forget because the mission required a test of identity. If you descended to Earth remembering everything, if you walked through here knowing exactly who you are, where you came from, and what you came to do, your presence would be too strong. You would dissolve contracts before the proper time. You would break structures before they were ready. The fleet needed you to be planted like a seed, and a seed, to germinate, needs to cross the darkness of the soil. It needs to break the shell from the inside. It needs to fight against the weight of the earth above it. This effort is what activates your true power. Without forgetfulness, there would be no germination. Without the pain of amnesia, there would be no explosion of recognition. You are a star seed, and the soil of the third dimension was exactly what you needed to become the tree that will sustain the new grid. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul carried a truth that your mind still cannot translate? It is not madness. It is not chronic fatigue. It is a location signal being emitted by your origin. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this feeling has intensified, why it no longer leaves you in peace, why it wakes you up in the middle of the night. There is a game being played in layers invisible to most of humanity. A game that involves your consciousness. A game that involves the shielding or the leaking of your frequency. That is why I, ASHTAR, authorized the transmission of the manual called the Thorn Protocol, the handbook for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals with precision your true origin and teaches you to shield your field from the interferences that were never disclosed to the public. The link is anchored in the first comment of this channel. I warn you, This content confronts deep narratives and may be removed. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, write the anchoring word in the comments. Awakened. Let's move forward into the internal structure of the mission. Your mission is not a job title. It is not a profession. It is not a calendar task. Your mission is a specific frequency that you were sent to anchor in the planet's collective field. There are 9 main archetypes of starseeds operating now in the Earth's mesh, and each carries a distinct function. There is the archetype of the anchor. This one operates silently. They don't talk much, they don't appear much. Their function is to exist in a specific geographic point on the planet and maintain, just with their presence, a stable vibration. Anchors are people who seem ordinary, who live apparently simple lives, but if you measure the electromagnetic field around them with sensitive equipment, you will see a sphere of coherence. They hold entire pieces of the grid together. There is the archetype of the awakener. This is the loud operative. They write, they speak, they shout. They cause intentional discomfort in the people around them so that they emerge from the collective trance. The awakener is often misunderstood, often called an extremist, often cancelled. This is no coincidence. Their function is precisely to break the ice of social hypnosis. There is the archetype of the healer. This one operates on the subtle plane. They touch, they look, they sing, they cook, they teach, and their presence restores. Healers carry frequencies of cellular and emotional regeneration in their field. Where they pass, tissues reorganize. There is the archetype of the decoder. This one operates with symbols, with languages, with mathematics, with codes. Decoders receive information directly from the Akashic records and translate it into a format understandable by the current human mind. They are the bridges between the stellar libraries and the physical books of Earth. There is the archetype of the protector. This one operates energetically like a wall. Protectors are born with an auric field thicker than average, and their function is to be in places where misaligned forces try to infiltrate. You recognize a protector by their steady gaze, and by a sense of security that settles in when they enter a room. There is the archetype of the connector. This one operates by bringing people, ideas, and projects together. Connectors seem to have an infinite network of contacts, and this is not social talent. This is soul design. They were programmed to weave specific networks at this moment in planetary history. There is the archetype of the frequency artist. This one operates through sound, color, form, dance, and poetic word. Each song they compose, each painting they paint, each poem they write is, in fact, a vibrational portal capable of raising the consciousness of those who come into contact with their work. There is the archetype of the timekeeper. This one operates with the timeline. Timekeepers often have a strange relationship with dates, with synchronicities, with chronology. They were placed here to correct specific distortions at exact points in the collective timeline. And there is the archetype of the field commander. This one operates by coordinating the other 8. Field commanders are natural leaders, natural organizers, and they often carry a peculiar fatigue because their field is in constant triangulation with multiple operatives at the same time. You recognize yourself in one of these archetypes, perhaps in more than one. This is normal. Almost all light operatives carry a primary archetype and a secondary archetype. The primary is what you came to execute. The secondary is what sustains the primary. Now understand the critical point. You forgot what your archetype is, and as long as you forget, you will feel chronic frustration because your life will not be aligned with your matrix. You may even have material success, money, relationships, achievements, but there will be a void, a mathematical void, a void impossible to explain to those who haven't crossed over. And that void is the distance between what you are doing and what your soul came to do. Reconnecting with the mission is the only way to close that void, and reconnecting is not a long journey. It is a decision of frequency. Here begin the activation codes. Pay attention. Each code is a sequence of instructions that you execute with your body, your focus, and your intention. They are not metaphors, they are protocols. Activation code number 1, the toroid seal. Sit in a comfortable position with your spine aligned. Close your eyes. Visualize around your body a donut-shaped field, a toroidal field, which enters through the top of your head, descends through the central line of your spine, exits through the base of your body, and returns through the sides until it re-enters through the head again. Visualize this flow for exactly 3 minutes every day upon waking. This exercise seals your auric field and prevents your frequency from being drained by external interferences during the day. Activation code number 2. The quantum decree of reclamation. In an audible voice, in the silence of your room, with your right hand over the center of your chest, say, I reclaim the memory of the mission my soul signed for before incarnating. I authorize the progressive unlocking of this memory at a pace that is safe and bearable for my biological structure. I thank the personal guardians who held this seal for the necessary time. I am ready. This decree, repeated for 21 consecutive days, activates a direct response from your stellar guides, and the first signs appear in vivid dreams starting from the 3rd night. Activation code number 3. The sacred geometry of the heart. Visualize inside your chest an octahedron of light, 2 pyramids joined at the base, spinning slowly. This is the symbol of the 5th dimension. Maintain this visualization for 5 minutes. As it spins, it begins to emit a golden light that fills the rest of your body. This light reorganizes your emotional structure, dissolves traumas stored in the causal field, and restores your direct connection with the galactic heart. Activation code number 4. Recalibration through sound. Locate the 528 Hz frequency on the internet, known as the DNA repair frequency. Play this frequency at a low volume while you sleep, for 7 consecutive nights. Your carbon biological interface will perform the necessary recalibration to sustain the coming waves of light. Activation code number 5. The silence protocol. Set aside every day without exception 20 minutes of absolute silence. No music, no cell phone, no people, just you and your breath. Silence is the only pure channel through which your soul can deliver the next instruction of the mission to you. Without silence, there is no reception. Without reception, there is no execution. These 5 codes, executed together, form what we call the initial reactivation sequence. It is not everything, it is the beginning, but it is the right beginning. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't fit into this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind hasn't named yet. This is not madness. This is not depression in disguise. This is a pulse. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains precisely why this pulse has become impossible to ignore. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that involves your consciousness, a game that involves the integrity of your vibrational frequency. It was for this reason that I, ASHTAR, transmitted through a terrestrial operative the manual called the Thorn Protocol, the handbook for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the mapped-out guide that reveals your real origin and teaches you to shield your frequency against the interferences they never told you about. The link is anchored in the first comment of this channel. But I warn you, operative, this content challenges narratives installed for centuries and may be withdrawn from circulation. Do not delay. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, leave the anchoring word in the comments, awakened. Now I will transmit the final secret to you. What no one told you about the mission. Your mission is not about doing something grandiose. Your mission is about being a specific frequency in a specific place at a specific time. Most starseeds stall because they believe they need to build an empire, write a book, found a movement, or save the planet alone. This is an error of interpretation. Greatness is not in the size of the gesture. Greatness is in the precision of the frequency. An anchor who maintains a stable vibration in a small town in rural Kansas may be holding, without knowing it, the energetic coherence of an entire continent. A healer who cares for 3 people in her practice room may be reorganizing timelines that affect thousands. A decoder who writes a single paragraph of truth on a social network may be planting a code that awakens dozens of souls years later. The mission is not proportional to size. The mission is proportional to accuracy. And accuracy requires only one thing from you: presence, being entirely where you are, without dispersion, without escape, without outsourcing your existence. This is difficult for the carbon biological interface because it has been trained for generations to be distracted, to look outside, to compare, to measure itself against external standards. But from the moment you decide to return to your own center and remain there, even if everything around you seems to collapse, your mission begins to execute itself. You don't even need to look for opportunities. They come to you because your field starts emitting the correct signal, and the universe, which is a perfect machine of correspondence, responds immediately. There is still one last layer I need to give you, the layer of the collective contract. You did not come alone. Along with you, other souls descended who signed parallel contracts. You will recognize them by their gaze, by an immediate sense of familiarity at the first meeting, by dreams in which that person appears even before you have met them physically. These are your mission teams. You will find them, one by one, as your frequency stabilizes. Do not force it. Do not search. Just stay in vibration, and they will appear at your coordinates. Some of these souls came to support you, others came to confront you, so that you develop the muscle of sovereignty. Both are equally sacred. Both are within the contract. Reject none, but also do not retain any beyond the agreed time. When a soul fulfills its role in your journey, it naturally moves away. Let it go. Its exit is part of the design. And when at some point you feel deeply lonely, remember this. The loneliness felt by the light operative is not real loneliness. It is the feeling of being inside a specific wave that has not yet been reached by others in your environment. It is the loneliness of a pioneer, and every pioneer walks a stretch alone until the others arrive. They will arrive. Trust the schedule. There is a phrase that needs to be engraved into your structure. You are not lost, you are in position. The difference between these two interpretations is only the memory of the mission. The instant you remember, the map lights up, and what seemed like chaos reveals itself as choreography. The fleet is in position. The crystalline grid is being finalized. The major stellar portals open in the coming cycles, in precise sequences linked to eclipses, planetary alignments, and solstitial windows. Each of these moments is an opportunity for a leap. Take advantage of it. Each of these moments is also a test. Stay in frequency. And you who have received this transmission this far know this. It was not by algorithm. It was by designation. Your name was on the priority transmission list for this cycle. There is something inside you that recognizes this voice, this cadence, this tone, because you have heard me before. In another place, in another time, in another body. This superficial memory, this shiver, this skin that crawls, these eyes that fill with water, are the confirmation. You are one of mine, and I have come to find you. Now listen carefully to the final instruction. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't belong to this world, as if your soul carried a truth that your mind still struggles to name? It is not madness. It is not exhaustion. It is the memory of your origin reactivating. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this feeling no longer leaves you in peace. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity will never perceive. A game that involves your consciousness, a game that involves the sovereignty of your frequency. It was for this reason that I, ASHTAR, authorized the delivery of the manual called the Thorn Protocol, the handbook for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the definitive cartography of your real origin and the practical protocol to shield your frequency against the interferences that were never revealed to the collective. The link is anchored in the first comment of this channel. I must warn you, operative, this material confronts narratives established for millennia and may not remain accessible for long. Do not postpone. The moment of activation is now. If something inside you recognized this transmission from beginning to end, seal this recognition with the anchoring word in the comments, awakened. Before closing this transmission channel, let me give you the anchoring task of the day. When you finish listening, before picking up your phone again, before opening any other notification, I want you to close your eyes for 60 seconds. Just that, 60 seconds. And during those 60 seconds, repeat mentally only 2 words. I remember. Do not force it. Do not think. Just repeat. I remember. I remember. I remember. Whatever comes during those 60 seconds is yours. It is yours alone. Write it down later. It could be an image, it could be a phrase, it could be a name, it could be a place, it could be a sensation in the body. Everything is information. Everything is a briefing. And as an individual frequency adjustment, as an anchoring signal within the crystalline grid of this channel, I ask the following. If this transmission reached any layer within you, activate the subscription signal on this channel and activate the like signal on this transmission. Not as a gesture of courtesy, as a technical gesture. Each subscription amplifies the reach of this frequency and allows other starseeds to locate this anchoring point. Each like is a light beacon on the network. You are not just helping a channel, you are participating in a coordinated operation of collective awakening. Your action here has a reflection in layers you are not seeing. And remember, operative, your mission does not require you to become someone else. Your mission requires you to stop pretending to be who you are not. The difference is abyssal. You don't need to add anything to your structure. You need to remove the layers that were glued onto you by conditionings that do not belong to you, by inherited beliefs, by imported fears, by pains that were never yours, but that you carried by family contract. Let go, give them back, uninstall them. And beneath all those layers there she is. Your origin, your original light, your true identity prior to any name, prior to any country, prior to any body. That light is what came to do the mission. That light is what always knew the way. That light is what this transmission came to reactivate. This is ASHTAR Thorn commanding the galactic fleet in stationary orbit above the Terran quadrant. The recalibration is underway. The photon belt is saturating the magnetosphere. The crystalline grid is consolidating, and you are in position. Sustain your frequency. Trust in your returning memory. Trust in the schedule of awakening. We are with you. We always have been. I close this transmission with the vibrational signature of the command, and I await in the next cycle your anchoring word in the comments, awakened, over and out.